Meeting to order. I'd like to remind you, if you're here for public comment on items on the agenda or other items where you'd like to address the board, be sure to fill out a comment card and give it to Jackie. Okay? I'll invite you to stand and join us for the Lord's Prayer and Pledge of Allegiance.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we're going to do a small amount of business, and then I think we'll let the presentation happen out of order, so you don't have to stay here long. Item 2.1, approve the minutes of the Glades County School Board regular meeting, March 10th, 2022 at 9 a.m.
I'll move to approve the minutes of the March 10th meeting.
Sorry. Any comments, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
3.1, there's, I'm sorry?
Who was the second? I heard.
Jean.
Thank you.
3.1, there are no amendments, so skip that. Public comment on agenda items, Jackie. Consent agenda, does anybody have anything they need to pull off of the consent?
I don't.
Oh, well, we were gonna let them go first, but if nobody has anything? Okay, I'll take a motion.
Motion to approve.
A second.
Any other questions, any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, number 6, presentation of proposal from CRA Architects for the initial building plans for the new Moorhaven Elementary School and approval of proposal from CRA Architects.
Good afternoon. We thank you for the opportunity to be here today. I'll turn it over to you.
Bill Rutherford, we certainly appreciate the opportunity to stand in this room and serve you again. The school's already had a great relationship, and we're looking forward to doing it again. And we thank you for the opportunity. Just quickly, we're going to show you. I'm not going to make a long, drawn-out presentation. I'll talk fast and get out of the way to show you the people that will be involved in your school. I will be involved, Greg, and all the people across that front page will be involved to show you we have the staff availability to do that. Steve Dobbs, serving as civil engineer. Overview, just showing you the years we've been in business, the amount of schools we built, looking in a lot of rural counties in the state, 31, all over Florida. We're very familiar with SREF, very familiar with special facilities funds. We built like 23 of the 28 special facility schools in this state, so we're very familiar with that. Key staff. I think probably the best thing about us is if you look at those faces and those numbers, you'll recognize the people have been with us a long time. We have people come in and eventually retire. I wonder one day that I might think about that, but I don't particularly want to do that. It's fun
I wish
doing
we
what I'm
could say
doing now. Well, we have about 20 years right now employment record with everybody in our office as an active. Okay.
Your West School was built in, it had a 2002 project number in our office. I worked on it. Most of the people that worked on it at that time are still in our office. So
That gives us an opportunity, quite frankly, that most firms do not have, and that is staff retention. They don't train them and they leave and go somewhere else. They stay with us, and we're proud of that. All of the consultants, all of the people who will be working on it, you know Steve, look at all the engineers, H2, same engineer that did it for you before. Jeff Johnson Reed Structural, same firm that did it for you before. So really there won't be any change. Know your community, know what to do, know the school.
all right. SREF experience. This is just list of our school board clients that we work for all over the state, just to show you, we know SREF, we know K-12. That is exclusively what I do right now, is K-12 school work. We understand the codes, the SREF, the Florida Building Code, all these codes, we understand them, we are aware of them. We are in Tallahassee, we work very close with DOE. That's very important when it comes to special facilities construction accounts, which is what this project will be. You have to know the rules, you have to know how it works, the timeline for it and all that, and we'll touch on that in just a little while.
Just so you know, SREF, that's State Requirements for Educational Facilities. So when I'm using these acronyms, you know that.
Thank you.
Special Facilities Construction Account is SFCA. It's the funding you're going after for this. We've done 27 special facilities schools. We understand how they're put together, understand, most importantly, above everything else, we understand how the funding works. So that's what's most important with this. A lot of architects will talk about design and all these other things. We eventually will, but what's most important first is getting you funded, getting you in the gate, and getting the money for you. That's what's most important. These are just some special facilities funded schools we've done. Most of these are K-5s. Glades, West, Baker, Calhoun, Taylor, Hardy, Hamilton, Bay. We've got one finishing up right now. It's not special facilities, but it's a K-5 school. We're finishing there for them. Alpha School, wanted to just feature it real quick. This is special facilities funding here. This gives you an idea of the type school, the finishes, kind of the look of it, what it can look like there. Feature school. Kate Smith in Washington County, this is another one. Again, the front vernacular look on the front of it, the colors, the media center here, just to give you a feel for what special facilities you can get through special facilities. Again, this is Boniface School. It's a K-8 up in Holmes County. Again, you get to see the feel of it. A very good-looking brick two-story K-8 school. Real sharp. Hamilton County, this is another one we finished up a couple of years ago. It was a K-6 school. Again, flavor of it. We want to design to inspire your kids. We got some other sense of place. Make sure what you have is a sense of place in the community there. We want to talk to you about that. Orient the school for sustainability, those types of things. One of the things we will come back and talk to you about is, do you want something more contemporary or more traditional? Talk to you about what's in the community, what it looks like, how, the design there. We'll have those conversations with you as we get into it more. Walsingham, this is, as I said, this is one we're finishing up right now in Panama City. So give you an idea of what it looks like. Interiors, the furniture, we help with the furniture, we help with all the different aspects of the classroom. So when you're done, you have a high-impact classroom. We want to look at the natural lighting in the school, make sure you have ample lighting there. Flexibility with the furniture, we want to make sure you have that in the classrooms. All those keynotes there, we want to make sure you have all of those. Colors, we want a vibrant school, something that the kids will really enjoy, really like, want to come to. These are just some examples, again, of what we've done. Graphics packages, we'll talk to you about a graphics package on the interior. This is something that we're really doing a lot of stuff now, getting the color, the effect, and 3D. This is texture. This is in a cafeteria here. So look at that. Budget and schedule. This is set up as a schedule that runs from left to right in years. 1, 2, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, all the way to 27. This is to give you an idea how the funding and this program works. If you don't understand, please raise your hand and we'll work you through it real quick. Special Facilities Construction Account application deadline was February the 1st. You made that first deadline, so you're in. Next, the Special Facility Construction Account Review Committee comes and makes a visit to determine you have a need. They have done that already. That gets you in the gate, so you're in right now. So later this year, in June 1st, you have to have Phase 1 documents, which are basically schematic documents done by an architect and submitted. Actually, they have to come to the board, get approval, and then they go to DOE. So that will be the next step. Then after that, in July, August, superintendent and the board will need to go up to Tallahassee and make a presentation. We'll help you with all that. We've got other presentations that districts have made. We'll help you put it together. We'll work with you on that. But that's kind of, for this year, that's kind of what the timeline is. Any questions there? Next year. So you get approved this year, next year it goes to the legislature for funding. So March, April of next year, it'll go to the legislature. You will get funded July the 1st of 23 will be your first round of funding. Typically, they fund 1/3 over 3 years. It's how they fund it. So July the 1st, 23, you'll get funding. July the 1st, 24, you'll get funding. July the 1st, 25, you'll get funding. 1/3. We're working with DOE right now on your budget. So I would love to be able to stand here and tell you it's $35 million, but we don't know exactly what it is today.
We will hold back on the first year's funding and award a contract late in the year so that you will not be illegal by awarding a contract to a firm of money that you do not have. So try and make the times work.
So then next year, we met legislative session is March, April. So we'll do schematic design. That'll take 3 months. Design development, that's when you do the design and you start working 3D coming out of the ground. You see what the building looks like and stuff. Next will be construction document. That's what we generate at the end to give the contractor. So that's kind of 6 or 8 months will be the design time we need to get the project done. What we will do is make sure that you got funding before we do the document so that we all don't get out and get you something designed that you don't get money for. We will make sure you get money first and then we get the design taken care of. Then we along those lines, we hire a contractor who will come in, bid it, price it, and then you will have 24 months of construction. So you're looking at somewhere around August of 26 to actually have it ready to occupy for a new school year. Any questions?
Approximately, when would we know the amount of the project total? I know we won't get it for 3 years, but when would we know the amount?
I would tell you the next couple of weeks, DOE will have that figured out.
And that goes into, that's with how many student stations and all of that, correct?
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
I know this has probably been talked about, but have we also considered what's going on with Buckhead Ridge? With the numbers?
I don't think we're far enough along. to figure
Okay.
that out.
But that is something we can have a conversation with DOE. That's how the West School was set up. We got permission to come back after the fact if you got all the students back over there, and we went back and did the big classroom edition after the fact on that one. So,
That information has been sent to DOE. Lila Brown has that information, and so does Mr. Kelly.
So these are a couple of sheets. I will be back in front of you talking to you about these. The one on the right, your procedural checklist, this is, we're just gonna go down it. This is what needs to be done to get you through funding and get everything. I won't go through all of that tonight, but we will be working that. On the left, this is your funding. This is how the funding's gonna lay out. So you can see up at the top, there's student station and student station cost. That's an easy one to do. What we have to do is come down the list. This is a list we've comprised over 27 projects working with DOEs, where we've gone and been able to ask for money on these projects. So we kind of assimilated this list, and we will go back and say, you know what, you should be entitled to, if we're gonna build over here, you should be entitled to some fill there. We need to get that site picked up 2 or 3 feet so it matches the site of the school board property here. So we will get fill for that. So there will be site costs involved with that. There's DOT connections, getting the buses and the cars in there. We're gonna ask for that. Water, sewer, getting those to the site. Want to make sure we got water and sewer to the site. All those types of things we ask. Going down, I'm just real quick going down. Protected species rehabilitation costs. That was something we ran into on West. We got into some stuff over there. So, but security costs. There's some hazardous abatement in the old buildings. We're going to tear down. We want to make sure if they got hazardous material in them, make sure we get that taken care of. So this is the list. We're working with DOE right now, actually doing takeoffs, figuring how many cubic yards of dirt we need out here so we can give them a good number there. So we're working with DOE daily, working on this. So any questions about this?
I would just, I'd tell the superintendent to be sure when you meet with Bill Mumford, that you tell him what you need, tell him everything about it, tell him if you've
He's my mentor, so I definitely.
He is a super guy.
He's a
Yes, he
wonderful
is.
man.
We, you can read those comments, we are good listeners, we will listen to you, we want to build this school, we want to walk away with you happy, us happy, and not have any issues. We can get this school designed, get it built for you, we don't even come back in this boardroom, talk to you about issues.
Another 10 years.
It's a good day. It's a good day. We don't waste your time, we don't have to get jumped on for something, we just don't have issues with schools. With a lot of schools, we understand what it takes, and we appreciate the opportunity to let us go, you letting us go.
Any questions, please?
Where are you located, your home office?
We're in Tallahassee.
Tallahassee.
Okay,
We're there with DOE, we work with them daily.
but you have local people here that,
Yes, Steve's on it,
Okay.
Steve's on our team.
okay,
Yep, we have other people too.
okay,
We're doing the Okeechobee High School right.
okay.
I also have to say that when I saw Mr. Dobbs' name, it was encouraging for me as a superintendent, because I know he has a very stellar reputation. So that was an excellent.
We've been working with you for 13+ years on several projects.
In Glades County.
In Glades County, yeah, we've done a lot of work here in Glades County.
Jail, UOC,
Medical.
medical.
The courthouse,
Courthouse, renovation after the hurricane 15 years ago.
a lot of work here, look.
That was a very good presentation, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Very,
Very quick, so we don't.
that's okay, it was a lot of good
And
information.
we will be back with more in-depth information as we get into it. Tonight, we're just trying to give you a quick overview.
If you have questions, tell us, ask us. You know,
Do you have any more of these?
Here, here's
That's
one.
tonight's, that's the presentation tonight, that's not the proposal.
Crystal, you might have
Do you have an
some.
extra?
I
Because
have,
I know Gloria wants to take it home.
thank you.
Do we have to take action on this?
It'll be, it's
Says
gonna be
it's on the
interesting
action
too, 'cause they're working with the numbers right now, and they're kind of chasing a bouncing ball. And what I mean by that is, I talked to Mr. Rutherford, and, I was telling him when I was at the facilities conference just a couple weeks ago with Mr. Brown, that they talked about the cost per square foot of building has gone up from around $160, $180 a square foot to over $250 per square foot. And Mr. Rutherford said that right now we're looking at about $300 to $350 per square foot. So,
It's unbelievable.
Yes, it is.
It's basically, it is a fuel, petroleum-driven problem.
Yep.
That's what it is.
I was in Bluntstown yesterday, they're building a K-5 in Calhoun County. Just got some additional funding there, $11 million. We priced it at $295 a square foot this time last year, thinking we'd be great. Contractor came in yesterday, he said, I'm thinking somewhere between $300 and $350 a square foot, so here we go.
We had a lot of discussion with the legislature on the cost of the facility.
The cost per student station is not working.
Tremendously
And we
big.
still really don't know.
You got
It's gonna change every day.
we're gonna have a good guy to listen, Simpson, I mean, he's really concerned, he wants to do it right. I don't know where we're going with the cost problems.
Well, that's where all that value engineering comes in.
Yes,
Value engineering means you're just cutting something to make it less expensive, and we don't like to do that.
Quality a lot of
Yeah, I
times.
know, but you can't, I've been on the board, I was here whenever we
Yeah.
built that over there, and I couldn't believe that, that, and then over at the high school, whenever things were metal, and then there was bricks, and then there was, and you would never know what was really inside, is what I'm saying.
First, let's go back about 10 or 12 years ago, legislature appropriated $50 million to the special facility construction account.
Every year.
Now, that $50 million is appropriated for every school.
Hey, crazy.
I have a question. Do we get a discount if we name it Bobby Bowden Elementary? Just asking.
Hey, we have to get everything we can.
Asking for
I think FSU's in good hands right now. I was at a function last night and listened to Coach Noel speak, and I think he's more Baptist minister than he is coach. But he is a good
He'll get the
guy.
message
He really
across
is.
then.
Super guy.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you so much.
We have to do what?
approve their proposal tonight?
Yes.
Okay,
Give us, we're gonna vote on it. Give us just a
now
second.
that they've already done work.
I know, he was worried about it. Okay.
All right.
So I was confused, because I thought the committee was gonna give us their recommendation, and I'm asked Mr. Ruth, this is the committee's recommendation?
Yes.
Okay, so you,
So
the
you've
committee
met with
met,
other-
we haven't really heard what the committee did or anything like that, so
I can tell you.
maybe if you
Yep.
could update us a
Yeah.
little bit.
So we did a request for proposal for the architects for this project. It was open, for over 4 weeks, almost 5 weeks. We actually received 3 architectural proposals. We sat down, there was a committee of 5 of us that looked over the proposals. We had a checklist of the things that we were looking for and a scoring grid for that. It was Ms. Allen, who represented the school board. It was Al Brown was there, the superintendent, Mr. Bigger, who was curriculum director, and myself. So there were 5 of us. And we went through each one of the proposals separately. We scored them on our own. And then we came together and we looked at who scored the best. And really what we found is that this company scored the best for all 5 of us. So really, there really wasn't much discussion as to, you know, do I think this one's better than this one, this one's better than this one. But we all agreed that they were the top group. And I've worked with Greg Kelly a little bit before, because he works with Violet Brown, who's with DOE. And I know that they're a top-notch company, and I would definitely recommend this project.
And they did West Glade School,
They built West Glades, yes.
How about Moorhaven over here?
but
No,
not.
that was a different architect.
That was a different
Yeah.
architect.
Did that architect submit a bid for
Did
this
not.
one?
No,
Hmm.
did not.
I
Yeah, I'm
make a
interested, because I was talking with them too, they said that when they built West Glades, they actually had a master plan. And they had, within that plan, they had a place where they were gonna put a high school there. And I'm interested to see that plan, because we all know that at some point, we're gonna need to add classrooms to that building. And, I'd like to see kind of what their vision was when it was built, 17, 18 years ago.
Well, yeah, they were actually supposed to build another wing, right? We thought it would be within 5 years,
Right.
and it's been 20, so.
Well, that's because that housing project that was supposed to come through with Likes Brothers never came through from what I've heard. I wasn't here then, but supposedly there was gonna be a lot of building out there, and when that building happened, then they're gonna start bringing dollar stores in and all that stuff, which brings in more people, I guess, and, but something happened, maybe that was. well,
The
I guess
economy.
Housing,
That was
yeah,
the
the economy,
economy.
yeah, the housing boom happened, or housing, not housing, but the housing collapse.
Didn't it have something to do with Likes Brothers too, and the property?
It was theirs.
It was theirs. They were supposed to put, a housing thing out there
Yes, ma'am.
years ago, but I don't know, it fell through. And so it never, yeah.
I make a motion that we approve the proposal from CRA Architects.
I'll second, sorry. I'll
Any,
second.
any further discussion? All in favor? No amended items, general public comments, no cards. Jackie? Superintendent's report.
It's short tonight, just a couple things. I did, return Sunday evening from, my superintendent's summit in California. I was telling Ms. Prowan, it was very cold out there. I didn't think California would be cold, but it was very, very cold. Before you leave, I will give you a copy of, my certificate that just says that I met all requirements with distinction. And I also, just because I felt that you just would like to see it, I also printed out a detailed copy of the agenda of what I attended. And one of the things that probably stood out to me the most, and I kind of, like I said, I'd already previously talked to Ms. Allen and Ms. Prowan about this, was I could have closed my eyes, and when I was listening to the other superintendents talk, it was like they were from Glades County. The same problems that we're facing in Glades County, they're also, facing in Wisconsin or in Michigan or in Texas. And the main thing is how to reverse the Great Resignation. And, it's happening across the country. And basically, we talked a lot about how to attract this group of young professionals that are coming out of college, that they're not like us. They don't, they do recruiting off of Snapchat and off of these different, modalities that we've never used before. And basically just making sure that we are up to date in the technology, sector of our human resources departments. Morale was a huge thing. And one of the things that I really loved hearing, because sometimes it's easy to say, well, our kids are really lacking because of COVID. And it was so good to hear so many educators talk about, we are so tired of having that as an excuse. No, our kids, that brought out a lot of our problems, but COVID did not make us 2 years behind. It brought out some things that we need to work on. And it was great hearing some of their suggestions for how to move your kids forward. One of the things that I think was a big take for me was, what are we doing with our kids after school is over? And are we utilizing that time? We get 1,000 hours during the time frame, but after school, there's like 4,000 hours that we're not utilizing. And they talked about how, does your after school plan, does it cover, narrowing the reading deficiency gap? Does it talk about, looking at those science and standards? So just a lot of really good ideas and practices that successful districts were doing. One of the things that I really liked is they had us set in groups according to our district sizes. So like, I wasn't in a group with a district of 36,000. I was in a group that was near what Glades County has. So hearing what other districts were doing, it was helpful to me, because I'm like, when you go to these conferences, and I know anyone that's in the audience and you're with a group and they say, oh, well, our HR department has 200 in it. Well, that's, how many teachers we have in our whole district. So it was great to hear superintendents say, oh, we have 6 people in our district office or whatever. So that was a great conversation. One thing they talked about was just the growth of teachers and what we're doing to make sure our teachers have the professional development that they're required, or that will help them grow. And money's important for these young, especially the ones that are just out of college, but what's even more important is that they are feeling supported in a family-like atmosphere, and that they're growing. So I'll be glad to share with you pictures. The last night I was there on my own, I had met up with a few of the superintendents. One of the ladies that was there as a superintendent, her district is the one like around where Coachella is held, or I don't even know, it's like San Bernardino or somewhere. But her college roommate's son plays for Duke. He's number 5. He's like their star, freshman star. And so she landed us some really good tickets. And so that was a huge bucket list for me, because I'd always wanted to go to Elite 8 game. And then flew out the next morning, and so I'm glad to be back to Glades County. Second thing, Mr. Presley came today to, I think I passed it out to you already. If not, I have, okay. I have it for you to pass out to you. The Booster Club is hosting their 30th annual. It's 30 years that they have been so wonderfully giving to the student athletes of Glades County. It's $100 for a whole sponsorship, and if the board would like to, it would be $20 a board member. And just let me know, and I can move forward with that. But this is, like I said, this is 30 years.
Golf tournament?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
yes. Yes, ma'am. And then, really, that is all I have. The final thing I have is our policy update. I'm going to hand you a manual. Once we complete these policies, we will finally be caught up. There's a lot of them in here, but once we're caught up, we're caught up. Neola has already gone through these with us and has updated to what the state requirements are. I ask that you go through these before our workshop. And then if you have any questions, let me know. We will have it as a workshop, so the public will be invited to also to view it. But if there's no questions, once you review through them, then that moves pretty quickly. So, do you have any questions about that? Okay, that's all I have.
Board members? Start down here, let's start down here this
I don't
time.
have anything.
Patty? Crystal?
$100 for the golf,
It's 20 a board member, yes, ma'am.
I can pay out for one myself.
Yes,
I
you
mean, I
can.
guess you can. He just said, I'm sure you
I
can.
always have.
Okay.
Crystal?
You saved the best for last.
No, Gloria's last.
Gloria already said she didn't have anything.
I
Oh,
might after you finish.
Oh,
okay, see? Go ahead,
I
Crystal.
will have saved the best for last. Let's see. So at the last meeting, we had, the sheriff come and give the presentation about the guardian thing. And I was gonna ask about somewhere on our agenda, and it would be nice if we had a spot for old business, just so, cause sometimes I feel like we drop things, you know? Does anybody else ever feel like that, or I mean, like, this is the example I'm thinking of, because, you know, I was the one that had asked, you know, for the input, and he gave a great presentation, you know, gave us information to read, and I guess what I'm saying is, you know, personally, I don't feel like moving forward on it, because the sheriff wasn't ready to move forward on it. But I didn't know if there was anybody else that, you know, I don't know, I'm just saying, I
Well,
feel
you
like
just-
we just
you
kinda
just
left
want-
it hanging there.
Right, and so you want
Everybody.
something to say, yes or no, we're not, the rest of us are interested or not.
Right, it should be an action item, whether we want to approve it or not.
Right, but to even get it on the agenda,
Right,
I mean, if nobody's in favor of it, it would be a waste of time to put on the agenda, right? Attorney? Is it okay to fill it out?
This isn't legal advice, this is just advice.
Yeah,
You don't have to take a position on everything, you know, just leave that option open for yourselves. That's another, it's not like doing your homework, you don't have to check every box. I can think of several questions I'd hate to even have come up. So, that's my advice on that subject.
okay.
so are you asking, do we want to move forward with it?
Yeah, is it
or not?
appropriate to
Oh, yeah,
see if
this
anybody
is,
wants
this
to
is the
move
time
forward
to
with
do that.
it?
Is there any
Okay.
enthusiasm
Okay.
for this or that?
Okay, is there any enthusiasm to move forward with the Guardian program? My opinion is, if the sheriff was on board, I'm ready, but he's not, so I'm not.
I was never on board.
Okay,
And I'm not on board.
Nope.
okay, all right, so that's a done deal.
Okay, so I have a question. So I'm learning, so please excuse this question, but if the board would have said, we would like to move forward, is that where then at the next board meeting, I would make it on the agenda as an action item?
Not necessarily the next board meeting. That would be your instructions as administrative staff. Okay, put that together. If it takes a month or 2 months, not forever, but a reasonable amount of time, you're gonna come back and make a presentation to the board and say, okay, this is, if you wanna do that, this is how I recommend you do it.
Okay.
I have something I just want to ask, since you brought it up. I wasn't gonna ask this, but did all of us get a letter from Mike Presley?
No, ma'am.
I did.
Email.
I got it, I got an email, that's y'all time of letter, but I got that. Do we need to talk about it, the same kind of thing? Is that the same kind of stuff we talking about, right? I would like for us to talk about it.
I have asked that be put on the agenda for the evening meeting in July
Okay.
for discussion.
July.
For discussion.
No, not July. Oh, gosh. No, April. I don't know where that came from.
Well, I had heard that there was a letter, and I had sent Mike a request for him to send it to my personal email, because I couldn't get into this from home, and he never answered me.
We having a meeting?
I think I
Oh,
printed.
I don't know what the letter says.
Okay, well, I think I printed it out.
I printed it. I have it.
Okay.
Here it is.
But
I
I
brought it
think
with me
it
just in
needs to
case.
be on the agenda as a discussion item.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
I talked with Mr. McKinley about this, and I requested that it be in the evening meeting so that people who work would have an opportunity to come and participate in the discussion if they choose to.
So, and there was some discussion about whether we are allowed to place things on the agenda as a board meeting, and so I was wondering, in those protocols that we did, was that addressed, or what is the procedure if one of us has something we want to go on the agenda?
Well, we have a policy, one of our policies, that states, I've got it somewhere.
Because we had never
It's in your
adopted the
July folder.
protocols.
So we need to
Yeah, it's
adopt
in
the
my July.
protocols.
Well, we need to read them first,
Yeah.
because they're not finished.
Yeah,
There is a policy, it's under bylaws, policy 165.1, and the second sentence says, individual members of the board may place items for discussion on an agenda by advising the superintendent of their desire to do so. So there was some misunderstanding about whether I was allowed to do that or not, but I think we've cleared that up now. And I've spoken with Mr. McKinley, and I emailed Jackie, and haven't had a chance to talk to Jackie face to face, but I will. And, you know, it's just something that I think we need to discuss because it's been brought up. And I'm not saying I'm pro or con either way, I just think we need to bring it out in the public and discuss it.
Yeah, the use, if I may,
Yes.
the use of the word discussion is critical there. Because one board member can't put something on the agenda for action. That's not how the system is designed. But for discussion, yes, there's board member discussion on every agenda. If you want to put a specific item to be discussed, not acted upon at that point, then that's appropriate.
And then if we decide to move forward, then we would again tell the superintendent.
Unleash the superintendent
Right.
and all that.
Okay.
so really, to not even have to put it on for discussion, you just bring it up during your comments section.
Absolutely,
Hey, I'd like you all to consider at the next meeting we discuss.
yes, and that's usually what we do.
Okay,
But I would like it to be on the published agenda so that those people in the community that look at our agenda will say, oh, that's something I'm interested in, I want to come to that meeting.
right, right. So, in this discussion, Jenny and I kind of sidebarred here about our protocols that we created. When we became certified as a board, we never finished that. That would be an old business. I
Well, I
know,
mean,
A
that
very old business.
because
that needs
these
a
kind,
workshop.
yeah, these kinds of things about how we're gonna operate and things like that are covered in those protocols. And we did spend a lot of time, but we didn't ever finish it. So it's kind of like a lost, you know, we need to do that. We need to have a workshop, or Jenny suggested a workshop just then because Jean wasn't on the board when we even created it, so we need to all look at those again and see if we wanna change them. And like Jenny kept hers right here for a long time. She'd always
It's still there.
pat it, here's the protocols, and I think we all need to get that familiar with it, so that we're not out of line. None of us want to be out of line,
Right.
you know?
Well, and I think if I remember right, it was a draft created by someone for us, and we didn't get even as far as, we just, okay, we have it, now we need to work on it. I don't
Yeah.
think we did anything else.
We never tweaked it.
I thought
to
we
fit us.
got in groups and different ones worked on different parts.
No, we didn't
I
get
don't
to
know,
do that.
well, I'll dig it back out.
Yeah, I was gonna try to find it before tonight
That,
too.
that is a policy that's in effect someplace else. We were supposed to look at it and see how we could apply it for us. And
But
if we
there's-
liked how it was,
Right,
if we needed
right.
to change it.
Yeah.
Right, tweak it, yeah.
And
Okay.
we did talk about it, you're right.
Briefly.
But we never came to a decision.
The only other thing is, I was waiting for you to introduce our new HR person at the last meeting, and I started to say something, I was like, no, I'm sure the superintendent's gonna do that. Poor Gabby.
Well, with that, this is our new director of HR. It says Gabby, and her, if it's the word I cannot say. it.
Ibia Tori Mendia.
There you go. And so she started, and his son has already just dove right in. So we really appreciate all that she's done thus far.
We're super glad to have you, Gabby.
Thank you.
The only other thing I had was, I just wanted to let everyone know that the scholarship organization, we have finally set a date for our program. You'll be getting letters if you're a donor, on April 1st. It's gonna be May 16th at 6 p.m. at the high school auditorium. We may or may not have hors d'oeuvres and dessert. We're still deciding that, but
May
You
what?
said May 16th,
May 16th, 6 p.m.
6 p.m.
at the auditorium.
that's a Monday.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. There's a lot going on in the auditorium that month.
Yeah.
So it was kind of difficult to get a date and time, but,
And it's scholarship, right?
yes, ma'am. So, as I said, your letters will be going out April 1st.
Cutter's never been from that. I've always just picked mine. Is it too late?
We'll talk after the meeting. Okay. That's all I have.
I also asked each of the schools to send me dates of important events happening, so I will email you their responses.
Good, because I would like to go to some ball games before they're all over. I
I
keep
got to
forgetting
go
about it.
to one.
Ms. Gloria, you have anything to say?
Not a thing.
Okay. Okay, the meeting's adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Who does this
Thanks,
check get
guys.
made to?